Joining me now are Maria Celeste of our sister network Telemundo and Sandra Guzman, an associate editor with the New York Post, as well as author of the Latinos Bible. Good morning to you both. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Maria, I want to start with you in this statistic that really caught my eye. 9 in 10 Latino children in the U.S. today were born here. I mean, these are second and third generation Latinos that are really trying to embrace Americana, while their parents and their grandparents are embracing still the Latino heritage. How does this play out with the family dynamic?
Well, as a parent, I have 3 small children. We battle every day between giving them the tools to assimilate, integrate, and be part of, and at the same time, having the traditions that we grew up with so they can relate to us, the parents. So it's a balance that we, deal with every day. I'm sure Sandra agrees with this, and especially the basis of everything, it's in the language. As they grow up in the United States, they lose the language. And I happen to be like a sergeant. I spend 50 times a day with my children saying, speak to me in Spanish. They don't get the allowance if they don't speak Spanish. And believe me, many weeks they don't get the allowance because they don't. They refuse to.
And Sandra, that is a big barrier, right?
Oh,
is the language, because the kids do want to speak English while their parents and grandparents are trying to get them to really hone in on their Spanish and to remember their Spanish, and so they speak to them, right?
Right. I experienced that growing up. I'm a first-generation Latina. My parents only speak Spanish, and so as soon as I started school here, you forget the Spanish, and it's a constant reminding of the language. And yes, it's a battle. That's a really good idea. The allowance is a good idea.
I don't think our kids are going to be too happy, Maria, at this point.
I remember my 6-year-old. I said to him, for the rest of our lives, I'm only going to speak Spanish to you. So for 2 weeks, this goes on. Buenos dias, hola. So we do this, we do this, we do this, and one day he turns around and he says, Mom, you've been speaking Spanish to me for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I haven't understood a word you said. If you want to speak Spanish, go back to Mexico. So it's nuanced. He wants the shorthand between he and I and your kids. It's English, really.
Sure. And I understand that. My father is Puerto Rican. He would speak to me in Spanish, and I would just answer in English. It was natural to me, and it was easier for me. And it's probably the kids speak English in school and with their friends, and they want to come home and speak English as well.
And they want to fit in as well.
Right.
And language is key to keep the tradition also, because it is through language that you get to know a culture. And I really promote being bilingual, because it is proven that if you speak 2 languages in this country, you're more likely to get a job and get better paid. So,
right.
I want to ask you about this as well, Maria. Latinos now make up 22% of all children under the age of 18. And another big issue are the names. And we saw it in Miguel's piece there. Names like Jose, we don't see anymore. A lot of parents are naming their second and third generation Latino children American names. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's very funny, because as parents, we want to give them, like I said, the tools for them to integrate, and that's why these parents in the story call their kids America and instead of Jose,
Right.
And it's very interesting. There's a cute story that we have, that we always comment about it in the Spanish in our show. There was a case of this woman that came here to the United States and named her son Usmail, and when they asked it, Usmail, who is that? It was U.S. mail. U.S. mail.
U.S. mail.
She saw it in a truck, and she wanted her kids to be assimilated and to be integrated into the culture, so she gave him that name, thinking that, that must be a cool name.
Yeah, I think that's very funny. And
there's many cases like that.
Right.
It's one of those things that we all laugh about. But I think parents just are practical. They do want their children to succeed, to assimilate. But I think just because parents are naming, and this is not new, Jennifer Lopez.
Right.
This is not new. This has happened since all immigrants have come to this country. But it's a practical issue. They want their kids to succeed, but they don't stop being Latino behind closed doors.
Exactly. Maria Celeste, thank you so much. Sandra Guzman, we really appreciate your time. And tomorrow, the Today Show kicks off a special week-long look at more of the issues affecting the Latino community here in the U.S. Look for We the People right here on Today.